I think we're live. Oh, we are live. Oh, what do I need this crap for? I don't need this crap. Bunch of bullshit anyway. Anyways, hey, I want to thank Nexstar. And first I want to thank Frank Blau. Frank Blau saved my life in 1990. He showed me how to run a business, showed me how to get out of new construction, run a service business. And that just transformed everything. That was a pivotal moment in my life. It was 1990, and it was March 3rd, 1990. That all happened. I can never forget it. By June 1st, I had started my business, and a couple of years later, Frank Blau started an organization called Nexstar. I happened to be at that founders meeting, and man, just creating the whole thought process of putting the Nexstar together with Frank leading it and several other smart people in the room. You know, they passed a hat and it was $4,000 to get in, or $3,000, hell, I don't even remember. And they passed a hat and I go, son of a bee sting. I don't have $4,000. You know, I was a 2-truck company back then for service. And $4,000 would have bankrupted me. So I had passed the hat. And that was my big motivator to get into Nexstar, to get into Contractors 2000 back then. And 3 months later, I think we had another meeting down in Atlanta and wrote the check for $4,000 and I got in, you know. So the worst case is I'm not a founder. But I was at the founders meeting, the only deadbeat that couldn't write a check for $4,000, you know. So I use that today still as a motivation factor for me. It keeps me focused, and it's kind of how it all started with me with Contracts 2000. I want to thank Frank for educating this industry, especially myself, selfishly. You know, Frank and I, we had phone calls every Friday at noon, and I had to be there at noon because he wanted to make sure I wasn't out in the truck. But he would call me every Friday, and this went on, I would say, the first year I was in business, and it was an amazing thing to get your ass chewed out. Looking forward to get your ass chewed out by Frank Blau every week. But I'll say this, that was a coach. He is the coach. I want to thank Jack for taking these 15 guys. I don't know how many the founders were. Jack was at the founders meeting, and yeah, howdy doody. I'm sorry, Jack, but you know, that's what Jack was back then. He looked like howdy doody. He's a much mature man today. Jack, I love you, brother. And he did a great job of starting an organization that nobody knew which way it was going to go. And under Jack's guidance, brought it to where it is today, or guided it towards the place that we're at today. And then there's Marla, the first hire. Love you, Marla. It was Jack and Marla. Oh my God, they did everything. They did absolutely everything. And Marla was one of the people that called me in 2003, just out of the blue. I sold my business in 2001, and Marla calls me, and I'm building houses, okay? And I sucked at building houses, and because I built them the way I wanted to live in them. And yeah, I wasn't very competitive in a subdivision. It took a while for my houses to sell. But Marla called and said, hey, we're looking at a coach to the Nexstar team, or the Contracts 2000 team. I go, what the hell's a coach? What's that going to be? He says, I don't know, but let's figure it out. So I went up there a month later and spoke with Marla and Greg and came up with an idea for coach. And said, let's give it a wing. So, you know, January 5th, 2004, I believe it was. It was my first day with Nexstar. So it was awesome. Greg Nemi back then was the president, I guess you'd call it, at that time. And, you know, I coaches today watching this, I want you to know this. There was 247 members back then that I had. Okay? So when you tell me you got 80, quit your fucking whining. Excuse me. Just teasing you guys. But that was it was a great time. It was a great time. Scott Pearson was there at the time when I joined. What a great guy Scotty is. Jeez. He's the backbone in Nexstar. Nothing gets done without Scott Pearson doing all the things he did in the beginning. He was the workhorse. He's the backbone. He keeps everything together and has been a dear, dear friend. And he even became the business coaches managers at one point. Oh my goodness. A role that very few people could ever do, except for Jody Peter. She does it well now too. And then I remember a time we were out at, Greg Nemi had mentioned at one point that he was going to retire 11-11-11. This was like in 2006, something like that. I go, 11-11, that's crazy. Who plans out that far in advance? That's where my head was back then. So I got to thinking, who are we going to get to run this place? I thought of Mr. Tester. I said, Jack's down in Memphis. So John Conway held a Money Master in Memphis, and I called Jack up, let's go to dinner. And Jack came pick me up at the hotel and showed me where Martin Luther King got shot. I had no idea. That's where it was. And then some lady that sat on the corner, she'd been sitting on the corner ever since Martin Luther King got shot back then. But then we went out to dinner, and I think it was called Rendezvous Barbecue? I don't know. I think that's what it was. My memory serves me right. But that's when I mentioned to Jack, I said, Jack, you hate where you're at. Why don't you come to Nexstar? Be a business coach. Greg Nemi's going to retire in 5 years. You can take over the president's job again. And that was the last time I spoke to Jack about it. Well, down the road, Jack, a year later or so, Jack gets with Marla and comes in as a business coach. So Jack was the second business coach. And then Jody Peter. Jack knew Jody, and Jody Peter is a business coach. So now it's the three of us doing a business coaching. And there's a little joke between Jack and Jody and I. It's called a Caesar salad. You can ask them what that means. Jack came in and took over the helm 11-11-11 and was president up until the point where he decided not to be. And once I heard that he wasn't going to, be there, I could see it writing on the wall. He talked about it a few times. And I grabbed Mr. Julian. I said, Julian, I only see one person in here that can take this job over, and that's you. So get ready. And ready he did. He does a great job. Julian, I love you, brother. You did a great job. Mr. Tester, thank you very much for all your service on this. You're fantastic. You're a very good friend. I know we joke a lot and we tease a lot and we punch each other once in a while verbally. I lose every time. Jack's got a wit and I just got a mean streak. That's kind of how I kind of got into this and where we're at today. There's things we did on the side, Jack and I and Tommy Kelly and Dan Weltman, Kip, Julie Wyman. We would go to Frank's place every summer for he had a hunting farm out in the middle of nowhere in Wisconsin. Honest to God, it was in the middle of nowhere. And it was hotter than hell. Why we did that in July, I don't know. But it was, I think it was to see Frank just cook, because he put more salt on a steak than anybody's ever seen in their life. But those were good times. We made that journey every year, and that's recently stopped due to Frank's health. But that was great. Great friends here I have. Tom Merritt, you're one of the funniest guys I've ever met in my life. And one smart sonbuck too. And Jody, I totally appreciate you having to deal with us. Oh my God. I mean, now you know what Scott Pearson felt like. And Scott, thank you for being the journeyman there. You want a hard job, you give it to Scott Pearson. He gets it done. And Pam was there I think, Pam, I think you came on like a few months after I got there. Might have been a year, I don't know. I think it was just a few months though. Pam's been there almost 18 years herself, or probably over 18 years right now. But yeah, what a great group of people that we started this thing out with, or moved along with, and kind of grew it to where it is today. It's been a lot of fun. And all the coaches, man, you guys are smart. Yeah, you know what? I knew it was time for me to leave when I realized. I looked around at all the coaches and I go, I'm the dumbest guy in the room. You know, I'm pretty good at that. It doesn't take much. Not a high bar, guys, okay? But you are definitely put me in that space. And I appreciate you for that and your willingness to become business coaches and stay with business coaches and help these members out. That means the world to me, really does. And one of you lucky bastards is going to get me as a coach, or going to get me as a pupil, because I'm coming back. Okay? So, short straw wins from there. But all of that, I appreciate it. And Julian, thank you for your leadership right now. And Jody Peter, thank you for your leadership. And Scott Pearson, thank you for your leadership. I totally appreciate you all. And I just want to say thank you. I've enjoyed every minute of it. So appreciate you very much. Bye-bye.